Tuesday, November 10th, 2020, and welcome to another edition of Wildcat Weekly. Hi, everybody. I'm your host, Joe Kraus. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. If this is the first time you're checking out our show, thanks for clicking on the play button. And if you're back for another edition, we truly appreciate you stopping by once again here on this special Tuesday edition of Wildcat Weekly. In case you didn't know, the show is where you can find out the latest from our Demon student athletes and coaches. We go one-on-one with them to discuss how they're preparing for the upcoming season, their past success with the Wildcats, and what it's meant to them to be part of the Demon College community. As always, you can find us on social media as well. Follow us on Twitter at Damon Athletics, like our Facebook page, Damon College Athletics, and visit our website, DamonWildcats.com. As I mentioned, we are airing the show on a Tuesday. Tomorrow, November 11th, is Veterans Day, and I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank all of our troops, past and present, all of our veterans, for their sacrifices they have made for our country over the years, as well as their families. This show, Wildcat Weekly, is just a little bit of the sliver of the pie that we can call freedom. And without you, the men and women out there and their families making the sacrifices and keeping our country safe, this show would not be possible. So a big thank you to all of our veterans today and every day for keeping our country safe. Our guest this week, he is in his third season with the David Men's Volleyball program, a program he built from the ground up after years across the country of coaching experience as an assistant coach. And he started here at Damon with the women's team, and now he's ready to go for a third season with the men's team. Despite having their last 10 matches wiped out due to COVID, the Wildcats doubled their win total up to 12. Last season, 12-7 was their overall record before things were shut down, and they returned to play this Friday at Lumsden, the annual Blue and White Scrimmage. It'll be starting at 5:30, and you can catch the broadcast on the ECC network at that time. It is their first game-type action in more than 250 days. Great stuff. Please welcome to the show Demon Men's Volleyball head coach, Mr. Don Gleason. And welcome back to Wildcat Weekly. We're joined by Mr. Don Gleason from Demon Men's Volleyball. Don, thanks for your time. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well, Joe. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. So let's just jump right into it. We got a big blue versus white scrimmage for your team coming up this Friday. It's going to be the team's first game action in months here at Lumsden. I guess how excited are you and your players for the opportunity to compete, even though it's just going to be an inter-scrimmage kind of game?
Yeah. Well, this whole fall has just been kind of like a ramping up, right? We started out with just getting individual touches. Nobody could share a ball. Then for 2 weeks, just paired work. Then for a few weeks, it was small groups of 6. So kind of every few weeks, we've been able to add to what we can do in the gym. And so now this is kind of the culmination of that, like phasing back into training and competition. So the guys are really excited to be able to kind of duke it out against each other and show, friends and family what we've been working on.
Definitely, and the match is going to be streamed on the ECC network for those. Unfortunately, we can't have a packed gym, but for those that want to tune in, it'll be really cool. And last season as well, I mean, a great run. This is only the third season for the program. Year 2, last winter, you guys won 12 of your first 19 games. Unfortunately, the last 10 were wiped out due to COVID. But with that momentum and as the leader of the program, how do you try to keep the positive vibes going, knowing that most of this roster is pretty much coming back?
Yeah, I think like every program's kind of dealing with some shared issues with like COVID and everything, and then within each program it's kind of like some unique challenges. So kind of the good thing for us is being so young, as COVID is kind of thrown a wrench into everybody's recruiting. We know that we're going to get a lot of guys back next year. So what we have really is how much better can we get internally now, right? Like the jump from year 1 to year 2, we brought in a lot of talent. We brought in just more guys means more competition in the gym, right? And now the jump from year 2 to 3, and then from this year to next year is going to be more so developing the talent that we have in-house. And so far the guys have embraced that idea of like, just because you're a college athlete doesn't mean you've made it, right? And they're always thinking bigger, and how can I get better? What can I do today to be prepared for a week from now, a month from now, a year from now? And just kind of embracing that idea of we can always improve has been really fun. It's created an awesome environment in our gym.
Yeah, definitely. Another part of last year, well, we're still in 2020, but January and February was bringing in the programs like UCLA, Harvard, Pepperdine. Those type of programs don't really come to Buffalo that often. So I guess having those type of programs, how did it benefit your program most notably, and maybe the area of Western New York volleyball? And can we expect more of those kind of programs coming into Lumsden in the near future?
Yeah. So to answer that last part, nobody really knows what the near future looks like, right? Like every single program is dealing with what kind of restrictions that they're going to have, especially in terms of like travel. And that's from everybody's state, everybody's conference, everybody's school. So it's really hard to say what like this upcoming year's schedule is going to look like. But that being said, in whether it's this upcoming season or seasons further down the line, we're going to be bringing in strong teams to play here. We get that unique opportunity as a D1, D2 program with men's volleyball, and really it's great for our program in so many ways. It helps our guys see like what that higher level of competition is like, and it helps put our program on the map, right? Like to me, and this is certainly a biased opinion, but Damon men's volleyball is like one of the best kept secrets in the country right now when it comes to the men's volleyball scene, especially what we're doing right now in our gym in year 3. And for us to get better players, we need to show what we can do in the gym, right? And then once we've shown what we can do in the gym, we can get better players, and it kind of bounces back and forth. So right now in the near future, there's not really any of those like big names on the schedule yet, right? But again, going back, at least with this inter squad scrimmage that we've got coming up, we can show people, hey, this is what we look like in year 3. And really it helps as well with our recruiting, where we can show some guys who are looking at college options right now that we've got a really high level of ball going on.
How would you describe the opening, the season opener last year, hosting UCLA, and it was a packed gym at Lumsden as well? I mean, how would you describe that kind of atmosphere?
It was phenomenal, right? That was the atmosphere that I anticipated having at Damon like 3 years ago when we made the announcement for the program. And I'm not sure if everybody else, like the athletics administration, kind of realized what the possibility was with the men's volleyball program adding. But I knew that was coming. So it was, a good 2.5 years of work going up to that moment and preparing for it. And so, to that point, it was kind of the culmination of the program, and being able to show the Western New York area like what we can do. But that was just the beginning of what we want to start building here, right? Like we want that to be a common occurrence.
Yeah, we're joined by Don Gleason, Damon men's volleyball on Wildcat Weekly today, and let's tackle the roster. I mean, you got the offensive execution is largely dependent upon the setter, and you have 2 guys returning in that spot. You got junior Michael Kruger and sophomore Gavin Musilak, who were a really good 1-2 punch for you guys last year. What have you seen in terms of their development? And again, I know we talked about this. This has kind of been an interesting off season. But in terms of their development, what have you seen from Michael and Gavin, and maybe also their leadership too?
Yeah. So again, what we are stressing and driving for in our gym is that ownership of their own improvement, right? Because regardless of COVID going on, even a normal year, once the guys leave in May and then come back in September, if they don't get any better, then we're in trouble, right? And so we want to instill that idea that they're going to work hard over the summer. They're going to lift. They're going to find volleyball where they can, playing 3-4 times a week. And it's obvious that work was put in, and now we're just starting to play the game at a bit of a higher level, right? And we, like last year, again, being so young, it was kind of just laying out the foundation, the basic principles of like, this is what it takes to succeed at the college level, in terms of like the speed and physicality of the game. Now this year we're taking that next step and really delving into like the mental side of the game. And, we're using the analogy of like trying to play chess, not checkers on the court. Right. And can we recognize the like subtle situations where we need to make certain choices, and especially at the setter position, that's so important because they're running the offense. Essentially, they're the quarterback out there, and they're both doing a really good job of understanding the game at just like a higher level than they were the year before.
You also have Lockport native Zach Snyder returning back. He was another focal point for you guys as a freshman. He has a year under his belt. He comes back. And then you add in a key transfer, Robert Patzer, who was co-player of the year in his conference at Wells College last winter. So when you try to fit those two together into the puzzle, like we've talked about too, I mean, how do you see them fitting in? And is there anybody else that could make a big jump here in 2021?
Yeah. So with those two, they're kind of on two different points in their development, right? Rob is a few years older. He's that seasoned veteran. We played them a few times last year, and so we knew what he could do on the court. And he hasn't disappointed in our gym, just showing that our younger guys, like I was talking about, that mental side of the game, where he just knows what to do and when to do it. It's really cool to see some of the decisions he makes on the court. And then some of our young guys, Zach Schneider included, can see what he's doing and be like, oh, I wouldn't have even thought to do that in that situation. Like, that's chess, right? Like, he's playing at a high level mentally. And then, with Zach Schneider coming back, again, he obviously put in the work this summer. He came back like physically different, mentally different, just taking strides in his game, where he had ownership of his own development for the past 5 months before we got back on campus. And it's very apparent, right? And again, like when I say I'm excited for this Friday to show everybody what we've been working on, it's because these guys have been putting in the work, right? And so those two fitting together on the court, it's a great sport where it's really hard to do it by yourself in volleyball. So when you can get other guys around you who can do it too, like the more the merrier, right? And it just creates a really high level on the court for us. And as far as some other names who might show us a thing or two this year, I think what we're seeing from Jake Cousins, he's a sophomore middle hitter, from last year to this year, just taking a jump again with that mental side of the game, kind of knowing where to be and just processing the game a little bit faster. This isn't like golf where you can stand over the ball for a good 5 minutes before you swing. Right. You've got a split second to see what's going on and decide what you want to do. And that decision-making process is happening faster for him. And he just looks big and physical now on the court. And then a guy that I've been pleasantly surprised with is Cam Milligan, a freshman coming in. And, I've been doing this for a little while now, so I've learned to kind of taper my expectations for freshmen. Even if they looked really good in high school or club, the jump to college is tough, right? And not only are you're around guys who are as big and strong as you now, but you're also getting used to the academic side of things, all the freedom that you're given. So again, I have very patient expectations when it comes to freshmen, but he is blowing them out of the water. He is loud. He is vocal. He is wanting to get better every single day, like no ego in the way. It's coach, what can I get better at? What can I get better at? And it's like thinking what he's going to look like in 4 years from now. It's just really exciting.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And you just touched on this that you've been around for a while. Your path to coaching has been fairly documented here. You had a chance to go to a career in engineering, but volleyball was the calling for you. And this isn't just looking at your resume, you went to USC and Yale. You've been around this circuit here in Buffalo at UB and Medaille. You were the assistant with the David women's volleyball team here before they started the men's team. So I guess now that you're in your third season with the men's team, what have been your biggest takeaways from the experience you've gained since the Damon program was started?
Yeah, that's how much time do we have? I think for me, one, getting to run my own program has been an awesome challenge. Because I had so many stops as an assistant coach, I was able to see things that I liked and things that I didn't like, right? Like whether it was how I was going to approach working with my athletes, how I was going to approach working with the administration and our support staff around us. There's so many different aspects to running a program that I felt fortunate to see as an assistant coach, and now I felt prepared as a head coach. But that being said, it's really fun every single day. Like I said, I push and nudge and ask my guys to own their improvement. And I think it would be hypocritical if I wasn't trying to improve every single day as well, right? So what's fun for me is looking back, from year 1 to year 3, the things we're talking about in the gym and the way we're approaching improving is so different for a number of reasons. One, like the level of play is getting higher as we get older, right, and get more experience. And two, just like constantly trying to figure out how do I help my players get better faster, right? And we can always get better at a quicker rate. And trying to figure out how we do that has really kind of transformed how I structure my practices, how I talk to the guys and address things. And I certainly don't plan on things looking 3 years from now the same as they do today, right? Like I always want to figure out how do we improve and how do we make it better.
Experience is the key of the game, no matter what the sport is, and it's going to continue for your team this Friday at 5:30. You can catch it on ECC Network, and you can catch this guy on the sidelines, Don Gleason from Damon Men's Volleyball. Don, we appreciate your time today. We'll see you Friday night, and hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Sounds good, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Big thanks to Don Gleason from Damon Men's Volleyball for stopping by our show this week. A great conversation with him. And once again, a reminder, you can catch the Blue versus White Scrimmage this Friday on the ECC Network. Our commentating duo of Ryan and the coach, Bob Maxwell, will be back on the call. Hopefully, you guys can check it out this Friday night. Thanks again for tuning in to Wildcat Weekly. I'm your host, Joe Kraus. We truly appreciate you joining us once again. Be sure to keep wearing your facial gear and washing your hands and maintaining social distancing. And a big thank you once again to our troops here and overseas. We truly appreciate all that you've done for our country. Until next time, thanks for watching Wildcat Weekly. We'll see you on Wednesday.